remember I was on vacation sitting on my hotel room floor. I made a little video like, hey, I just reached $200,000. That day I sold like 20 courses.
The sheer work that you were pouring in, you're literally juggling a full-time responsibility. You are a mom, you have a family, and still every single night you were pouring so much time and energy to this.
There were times I did start to feel a little burnt out. I know I want to be successful, so I was like, I'm going to do it no matter what, but there were just times I wasn't feeling it. So one of the really big things that I learned in Creator College was how much I could sell on the back end that I didn't have to do in my content. And so I have a whole nother audience of people who want to hear more from me that have subscribed to my emails that I wasn't utilizing at all. One of the last things you said, and I was like, that just blew my mind. It was just because I stayed to listen to you coach other people. And so what I would say to people with larger accounts is like, we don't know everything whatsoever. You've been doing this for so long, June. You're doing something that we don't know. And learning what I've learned, I've gained all of that money back and have grown so much. I really feel very strongly about like the way that people become better at anything in life is by investing in other people who know more than them. That's it.
Okay, well, Jenna, thank you so much for joining us today in our interview. We wanted to spotlight you because you were obviously a phenomenal creator, and you actually are a very different kind of creator. You were very large, even heading inside of the cohort. Then you had even more success, and I just want to highlight that entire process for the group. But before we get into actually what had happened during Creator College, I want to speak to a little bit of your background. So if you can, just speak to where you were before Creator College in terms of some of the problems you may have been facing as a creator.
Sure. So I was working before Creator College. I was working I'm a full-time teacher and I'm a mom. And so every night I would come home, play with my kids. And then at night I would start doing my work, making my social media account. And I loved it. And I was sharing tips on behavior for parents and educators. Um, But every night there were times I did start to feel a little burnt out or like I didn't really want to talk about behavior tonight, or I just wasn't really in the mood to, I know I want to be successful. So I was like, I'm going to do it no matter what. But there were just times I wasn't feeling it. And I saw a couple of your posts. One of them, first of all, I saw the results, which like blew me away from your first and second creator cohorts. That was just like bananas. And so I saw those results. And there was another time you've posted like a long form video where you spoke about how if you don't get out of your niche, you're going to burn out. It felt like you were talking to me because there are just some days where I don't want to talk about it. And so a lot of what you said, I just started doing even before I started Creator College. I just started posting more about my life and it started doing really well. And then I bothered you to create a summer course, and thank goodness you did. And so it was the best decision I've ever made. It really was.
You are someone that's so easily championed, like on a human level. I mean, the sheer work that you were pouring in, and you just made it sound so quote unquote easier than what you're actually doing, which I'm always impressed by. You're literally juggling a full-time responsibility. You are a mom, you have a family, and still every single night you were pouring so much time and energy to this. And when she's saying that she was chasing me for a summer cohort, she means that. Like I remember seeing her messages in the comments of all of our videos, and I was talking to the team. I was like, I don't know if we're doing a feature cohort, but we should probably do one because Jenna's like really needing it. So it was awesome to have you be one of the first members signed up for this
Thank
cohort.
you.
Can you remind me and also everyone else that's watching this, how many followers did you have before joining the cohort, if you remember?
I had around 169,000, I think. Not that I take a picture of my account every day to track it.
Yeah, I can't wait to see that series eclipse. Okay, so when you then were thinking about Creator College from an expectation standpoint, right? So a lot of the problems that you're experiencing, one is incredible because you basically won just out of pure sheer will. Like you are someone that's going to figure it out and just go hard until it actually turns out for yourself. Now for you is more of how do we implement some strategy to hopefully alleviate some of the additional stress that you were putting onto yourself and have some clear direction heading in. And I knew with your type of hard work, it was going to be kind of an easy approach for us moving forward. But for you, when you're thinking about Creator College, you saw some of the successes that we've had. You saw some of my long form content in regards to it. How are you feeling in terms of an expectation standpoint heading into the cohort? What did you think it was going to be like? I'm curious to hear your expectations.
I really had no idea, to be honest with you. When I had no idea what was gonna happen going into Creator College. I had gone into the website already before we even did it live, so, you get access to Creator College, and I had started watching those videos, and already they were so valuable, and so I had only high hopes. I mean, I knew it was gonna be amazing because of you guys give so much in Creator College. Like, I can't believe there's nothing you don't cover. Um, there's just so much content in there. And so that was really nice to see. But before going in, I guess I was wondering, like, because I am, like, probably on the larger side of the accounts that do enter, and so I was at a point where I was like, "Oh, I have a good amount of followers, I make sales every day, like, what more can I do?" But meanwhile, I mean, not only, but I there is so much more I could do, and that's what I learned, in Creator College. I was I think I was posting a lot of after taking Creator College, learning a lot of educational content, and so I feel like that's why I definitely, like, had maybe hit a plateau. I wasn't doing enough content about attracting people and my pain point, and once I started doing that, once I started attracting more people, I started getting I mean, now I have 200, I don't know, 53,000 followers, I think, today, and so I started posting attract content and paint a lot of the paint content, I wasn't even trying to make sales from, and I just like, it was just sharing my pain, and I would sell, like, tons of courses from that, and so, um, I think I've what one of the biggest things I've learned is just about how many different types of content there are. Like, I remember one of those first meetings, like, the amount of different types of B-roll, I was like, "Oh, there's B-roll." But no, there's, like, B-roll, and then there's, like, 20 different arms that come out of it, like B-roll with audio, with overlay, with your voice on top of it. Like, there's just so much I could do. And so I started switching it up, which was really, helpful for me.
You're already speaking to the creative college experience, and with the vernacular that you're using, I'm smiling ear to ear because you're using so much of the terminology that we were talking about during the cohort. You're talking about track content, you're talking about convert content, you're talking about the different formats of content. So that's incredible. And so with this huge unlock, you are a quarter way to 1 million followers, which by the way is absolutely absurd, and you should feel so proud of
Thank
that.
you.
Were there particular, let's say, frameworks that we've gone over, particular things that we had gone over in class that help to be an unlock? Obviously, as a bigger creator, you're going to have different things that you're paying closer attention to. So some of the content classes are geared towards advanced people. Like you're talking about the missions of content, for example, the 4 missions. So I'm hearing vernacular for that. Can you speak to particular frameworks that was really a big unlock for you during the cohort experience?
Sure. One of the things that you really unlocked for me during that was so I had certain videos that went viral, and that was it. Like, I posted before Creator College, and that was it. Like, I was done with them. But one of the things that I learned from Creator College is how much I could reuse that video and do different things with it. And so I started making, like, a lot of before and after videos with my viral videos, or like I started rewatching my viral videos, and there were things I picked up on that I didn't notice before, because now I started studying them, and I was like, "I need to point that out, and I need to repost it." And so I guess I learned how much content I could get out of a viral video. That was really eye-opening for me, and those became a lot of my attract types of content. Another thing that really unlocked for me was being okay with sharing my pain and my success. So I was really uncomfortable sharing my you remember, like,
I
sharing my
do. I was going to
success.
bring it up. So glad you did.
Yeah, so, like, talking about the amount of money I made, and I just didn't wanna come off as, like, a little bit gross or, like, in people's faces, but I made a piece of content sharing there was one piece of content I shared about how much money I made, and you were like, "Jenna, you have to do it. I don't get that vibe from you, it's okay." And I also had shared with people my journey, like, so it wasn't like I was just saying, "Hey, I made $200,000." It was like, I struggled, and now I made that. And that night that I posted that, I remember I was on vacation sitting on my hotel room floor. I made a little video like, "Hey, I just reached $200,000." And, like, that day I sold, like, 20 courses. And so what I which is more than I normally sell in a day. So had I not shared that, like, people, 1, got that social proof that, like, "Oh, this must be a really good course," like, if everybody's buying it. And then, people are championing me now. They wanna see my success, and it's just makes more people wanna buy it, and so I've been more open about that.
And everything that you're saying is what a good personal brand should have. So if everyone else is listening right now, what Jenna was able to do to just sheer will her way to success was pure through her expertise. So Jenna is incredible in regards to the knowledge that you share, and you're so good at talking head videos. And obviously the moment you open up your mouth, people are like, wow, she knows what she's talking about. That's someone that I should follow for information. But then the moment I got on call with you and I saw your energy and we started having conversation, I'm hearing so many more achievements and different things that you had to overcome to get to where you are. And I'm thinking to myself, how come none of this is presented in your content? Because
Yeah,
immediately the moment I started speaking to you, I'm like, wow, this person is incredible. Like this person needs to be championed, even from an
thank
individual
you.
level myself. So when I'm looking at a personal brand, it's yes, your expertise, but it's what's around that. That's what actually makes you stand out across
Right.
the whole marketplace of creators. So then we talked about some of your pain, and you did a really great job. You immediately started implementing it. But interestingly enough, you're right that your achievements were one of the hardest things to actually get out of you to post about because you are so humble in your approach. And when you did it, it was beautiful because everything that you concern yourself with in terms of, I don't want it to feel braggadocious. I don't want to feel as though I'm flaunting it. But the way that you carry yourself is so far removed from that. And you built such a strong personal brand and the foundations of it so that when you start talking about your successes, it just attaches to who people have already curated you to be. So you've done an excellent job creating something that actually lasts, like having longevity with this brand and
Thank
showcasing
you.
various dimensions to who you are so that you have so many different approaches that you can take. So I'm very proud of you, by the way, for doing that.
Thank
And
you.
I want to ask you in regards to if we're talking about big unlock for the content side, and I'm so happy that you're speaking on that. Now, I know you're still working with us in a different program of ours. I'm curious from a monetization standpoint, you've brought up the idea of courses and you've done a phenomenal job. And maybe this is another moment to highlight some of the successes that you've had for yourself so people in the world on my account can see it as well. But tell us about that. So, what course do you actually have? And what were you doing to improve that course throughout the program? Is there anything that you learned from Sean that you want to speak to? Because I think you've done an excellent job packaging your knowledge in a digital product that now sells. So, my question to you directly is tell me more about this course and what did you learn throughout the program that might have helped you kind of take an unlock for that side too?
Sure. So, what I learned in the program about my course, about making my course even better, one is that um, I found that in all of my content, I almost always spoke about my course, and I know that when you sell in your content, from what I've learned, is that your views will go down and your reach will go down. And so I was trying not to sell so much in my content, but I always felt like if I didn't mention it, then no one's going to buy it. And so I was always maybe mentioning it too much. So one of the really big things that I learned in Creator College was how much I could sell on the back end that I didn't have to do in my content. And so I have a whole nother audience that of people who want to hear more from me that have subscribed to my emails that I wasn't utilizing at all. I sent them a lead magnet and that was it. Like, and then I never spoke to them again, really. And so now I email them twice a week. And it's not even that I just take like a carousel I've made and I tell ChatGPT to like turn this into an email. And I send it doesn't have to be anything too complex, and I just send out 2 emails a week now, and so that's been really nice to be able to sell also on that end. So that was one of the big things I learned about my course. Uh, I mean, learning about, my landing page and how if that's converting or not, like, there were just so many things I didn't even know about, like, Sean's like, "What's your conversion rate?" I'm like, "What's a conversion rate?" Like, like, I didn't even know what that was. And so then I got to see what my conversion rate was, and, and it was actually doing pretty well, which told me that, like, my landing pages is pretty decent, like, it's a I mean, it looks like a five-year-old made it, but we're gonna get that. I'm gonna fix it. But, the message was good.
You are bringing up, by the way, again, something that's so imperative for especially creators of your size, but even creators when they're early on. This is a piece of information that a lot of people don't understand, where a lot of people try to only sell on the front end. They're trying to take up so much of the real estate talking about their programs. You have a course, but other people might have physical products or let's say
Right.
memberships of some kind. But they're constantly promoting it and they lose that goodwill with their
Yes.
audience because it doesn't feel genuine. And
Yes.
you're right that there's actually two fronts that you should always be selling on the front end. And when you do it, you better do it right. And then on the
Yeah.
back end, in regards to this digital ecosystem, can you have automated email flows? Can you have a 30-day email flow that potentially upsells into different products? And that's
Yeah.
another way of nurturing people that the front end doesn't need to see. So you're starting to experiment with a lot of this. And it's really cool that now you're building up another arm of your entire brand that's going to help you be able to make money, even let's say when you're not posting a piece of content directly towards it. So
Right.
fantastic work in regards to that. I actually
Thank
have a question
you.
I've been dying to ask you about because I spoke to Nina, and Nina told me that you were someone that she looked up to throughout the cohort. And also, a lot of the
Oh.
students have told me that you were really nice to them. As in, like, if anyone had a
Oh,
question, or let's say that they have commentary feedback for, you were someone that they like had full on trust that is a bigger creator that they can go to, or at least look at their content for an inspo, which is really cool, by the way. As in, you made a large
thank
impact on the
you.
people in the cohort. So,
Thank
my
you.
question to you is, how is the actual cohort structure like? I think for people that might be watching this, when they think of a group setting, they might think, oh, I might not get the attention that I wanted. Or let's say that they feel as though, am I going to be intimidated by people like Jenna, who's a little bit of a larger creator? Or
Yeah.
am I going to feel out of place because there's going to be smaller creators than me? Some of the hesitation that you were talking about as well. What would you say to that experience? How's the actual structure of the VIP coaching?
The structure of the VIP coaching was wonderful. I mean, I really didn't know what to expect going in. And actually there were a large amount of big create there were it was a really nice balance. There was just, there was on the smaller side, medium, and there were on the larger side. And so I think there were a lot of benefits to that because there were a lot of things that you told to, let's say it was supposed to be a class that was maybe more geared towards somebody with a smaller audience. I always took something out of that still. There was always something I took out of that. And even when let's say it wasn't my turn to have my account audited, I would watch what you would say to everybody because I learned a lot from that too. And you're so generous with your time, like you always went over. And I remember one night it was like 3 hours. I don't remember what time it was, but I was on like the Australia call or something. And I was like I said to my husband like, should I just sign off now? Like, I don't like, cause I was like, or should I? And he was like, no, listen to what he's saying. And so it was like one of the last things you said. And I was like, I don't remember what it was, but I was like, that just blew my mind. And I just learned something. I don't remember what it was, but I know it was very good. And like, it was just because I stayed to listen to you hear coach other people. And so what I would say to people with larger accounts is like, one, you don't know we don't know everything whatsoever. You've been doing this for so long, June, and, like, you have obviously amassed a following that is ginormous, and so you are doing something that we don't know. And so the tips that you gave to the followers that had smaller accounts were all very valuable to me as well.
That is, again, music to my ears. We're always considering how do we best position the VIP coaching. And the cohort was one that we were on the fence with early on. But it's so cool because every single iteration of this, that has been the feedback that we have received at the end of the cohort. As in, it was really cool to meet other creators, right? A lot of you don't have local creators to you. A lot of you
Yes.
don't have that support or guidance near you, or
Mhm.
even someone to say, hey, great job, or I hear you, or I understand the pressure that you're going
Yes.
through. So that was really cool because people are looking at you for it, and then you're also leaning on them for it too. So thank you so much for
Yes.
highlighting that experience. Okay, so if I was to summarize your success, you're saying, I mean, oh my gosh, you've only increased about 100,000 followers during the last few weeks since I've known you. How many? Do you know how many courses you've sold throughout the period that we've been working together?
Before Creator College, I'd sold around 1,400 courses. I wanna say 1,400 something, and I think I've sold and that was in the span of about a year. So 1,400 over a year, and then but then since Creator College, which has been like 2.5 months, I think I sold like 400 something at least. So that's a lot of that's a lot of courses in a short amount of time for me, for sure.
Again, the way you speak about it is so nonchalant, as in like you didn't just crush that experience, and you should be again so proud of the work that you've
Thank
done,
you.
and we're so proud of it. Okay, so if I was to summarize this for you, if let's say someone was on the fence for joining the cohort experience, as in they've heard of it, they've seen the reviews, they have seen this obvious interview, and they're thinking, wow,
Yeah,
Jenna's really impressive. She's someone that I can relate to and understand, but I'm still on the fence because this is a bigger investment for me, and I'm not
sure.
exactly sure if it's the right fit for me. So, what would you directly say to someone that is on the fence for joining the VIP coaching?
Sure. One thing I would say is I was on the fence too. I totally get it. It is a big investment. But what I will also say is something I've learned from every book I've ever read and from the people that I look up to is if you want to grow, then you have to like there are people who know more, then you need to surround yourself with people who know more than you. And sometimes that might take an investment. And just seeing what I've heard from your account and what you had to say, I just had a feeling that it was going to be worth it. And boy, oh boy, have I gained my money back and then some. Like, I mean, had I not done it, like to think about had I not done it, I probably still would have, had I not done Creator College, would have been hovering around like, I don't know, maybe like 170 or 180, and then sold like few more courses. But like since taking Creator College and learning what I've learned, I've gained all of that money back from what I've learned and so much more and have grown so much. And I think that I really feel very strongly about, like, the way that people become better at anything in life is by investing in other people who know more than them. That's it.
I've said this from the beginning, where the moment I met you, the moment we spoke with the team about it, you are so easy to champion. You're someone that's extremely hardworking. You're so pure in your intentions, and you show up. You do the hard things that most people would never do. And the fact that you've gotten here, I know we've assisted you in that process, but seriously, we're so proud of everything that you've poured into
Thank
this.
you.
And I know if someone has listened to the 20 minutes that we've been speaking now, they're going to think the exact same thing. It's like, how the heck did she do all of that? How is she balancing all of that? Which is so unbelievably impressive. So where can they find you on socials? Because I know that they're going to want to watch you and they're going to want to support your journey.
Thank you. So I am on Instagram, Facebook, TikTok, and YouTube, and my name is ABA Naturally.
Awesome. Jenna, thank you so much for your time.
Thank you, June.